Hi guys, it's Ty Hunter, and you're listening to Nothing to Lose But Yourself, hosted by Ricky Day.
My guest today is Ty Hunter. Ty is a designer, fashion stylist, fashion director, and now first-time author. He's from Austin, Texas, but he's known around the world. Ty Hunter rose to fashion icon status as a stylist for Destiny's Child, and then later for the legendary Beyonce, Queen Bee herself. Ty's inspirations and collaborations have graced the cover of countless national and international publications. His creative genius is also respected by and coveted by celebrities as well as corporations and brands. After creating some of the most iconic looks of all time and inspiring a whole new generation in fashion, Ty has collaborated now on ad campaigns featuring Hyundai, Foot Locker, and Charming Charlie, to name a few. Ty also has served as a tech designer, launching his own branded Ty Light LED mobile phone light a few years back, and he has dedicated himself to motivating those around him to be the best they can be via both his speaking engagements and his daily affirmations and inspirations that he shares on his social media account. But we will get into that and so much more. So why don't I shut up and let us get into this conversation with my friend, the amazing Ty Hunter. Welcome, Ty, to the podcast. What's up, Ty? How are you?
Hey, Ricky. Thank you for having me. I should just take you to that intro. I need to record that and just play that each time I do something.
Full disclosure to the audience, we are friends. We know each other. And I would say we've known each other for years, but we're newly, quote unquote, friends. Like, we're really getting to know each other. People casually over the years, but only in the last couple of years have I got to know him as a person, as a close friend, and as a human being that I really value and trust. I like to start these conversations, man, with some background, just telling people a little bit about where you are, who you are. People don't necessarily know your backstory. So you are from, like, one of my recent guests, Deborah Roberts, the amazing collage artist who was also born in Austin, Texas. You're from Austin, Texas.
Yes, I'm from Austin, Texas. And crazy thing is, Deborah, the artist from Austin, Texas, babysit me when I was a kid.
Stop playing. I did not even know this.
Don't nobody know that. She was my babysitter. She babysitted me probably like 3 or 4 times when my mom was young, and we lived in Austin. And, I started seeing her work, and then I started reading up stories about her, and I actually contacted her in a DM and was like, "You used to babysit me," because I actually talk about her in my book because she allowed me just that little time. I remember her so well, and I was a kid, but she allowed me to be myself, and so she has a huge place in my heart. But yeah, I'm from Austin, Texas.
How old were you? Hold on, we got to unpack that a little bit. How old were you when she was babysitting you?
My mom told me I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Wow, yeah, that is fascinating. I had no.
We lived in the same neighborhood. I remember we used to have to go up we lived on one street, and we had to make a left and go up this hillway, and she lived up there. Yeah.
That's fascinating, man. That's
great that you started out with that.
The world is so small. Yeah. I'm glad I mentioned her. That may not have come up in the conversation. That's great.
Yeah, I was in Austin, Texas. After graduation, I went to school in Dallas to the Art Institute to go for music video. I really wanted to go for fashion, but at the time I didn't want to be labeled gay, and I didn't want to, I was trying to push all that down and just be what society wanted me to be. And I went for music video business. You put me behind a mixing board today, I won't know what to do, but at the time I wanted to be a music producer. After going there, just realized I was just going to dress up and be cool and be cute for school and dress up and go out, because I was away from home. I lived in Dallas. I went from Austin to Dallas, Texas. So it was a whole new environment. So I ended up working in retail there and going to school. And then after that, I went back home. I was like, okay, I got to regroup. And my cousin worked at an artificial heart valve place, and he helped me get on. So after several tests and several interviews, I ended up working for a company in Austin, Texas that made artificial heart valves called Carbometic Implants.
Heart valves?
Yes.
You worked for a company that made artificial heart valves?
Yes, it's a center microscope every day. And I worked Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 12, off on weekends. So I was like, I can do this. But I worked on heart valves. And then after working there for a couple of years, a good friend of mine, I found out we were getting dressed to go out. And I found out he had a incision, like, a scar. And I was like, what happened? He's like, I have a heart valve. I thought he was joking. Come to find out, he had a heart valve. And so this place that I made really good money and, good numbers, I ended up being a place I dreaded. And I went through this slight depression. My numbers were going down. And the president at the time, I was watching TV and it was like, family leave. You can leave your job for 3 months. It's not guaranteed. But I was like, I need to just figure this out because there was a lot of other things going on at the time.
I was going to ask, like, your friend sharing that he had a heart valve kind of sent you off the edge that way, or was there more going on?
It was that happened, and being a young parent and being exposed, the whole gay thing, all of that just crashed down at once.
Hold up. A young what?
Parent at 22.
You are somebody's father?
Yes, my daughter is 27.
Now, mad people don't know this, right?
Yeah.
Myself included. Like, see, this is what I mean, but this is why I keep it real. Like, this is not my best friend. I know him for years. I know everything. Because I didn't even know this, bro.
Yeah, I have my daughter, Treasure Hunter. She's 27. So going through all of that and just being, just having I went through a whole depression where I was borderline suicidal, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff you'll notice in my book when you guys get to that. But so I asked my boss, I went and lied to my boss at the time and just told him I was having family issues. If you're listening to this, sorry about that, but that's the way to, for me to be who I am today. So I upped and I packed my car, asked my cousin, can I come stay with him for a while? And I upped and packed my car from just a few things. And I drove from Austin to Houston, Texas. And when I got to Houston, Texas, I knew that I did not want to turn back around and go back because, Houston was just a melting pot of it was just good energy. And I loved all the different cultures and stuff. I considered it at the time a little mini New York. And I learned so much. So I was like, I'm not going back. So I started doing retail, and my first job there was TJ Maxx. I was doing visuals, end caps for TJ Maxx, and I used to get so upset because I would create this greatness, but they could shop your work. Mm-hmm. So you create this beautiful things, and you go get something else. You come back, and they done already messed it up and things. And I used to get so mad, but the whole point was to sell things.
Right.
And from there, I worked at Office Max and TJ Maxx at the same time. I would work at TJ Maxx, and then the second part, night shift, I would work at Office Max and do restock. And I just really, really loved fashion, and I was like a thrift store shopper, and then people always commented on everything. And I was walking in the Galleria Mall one day, and it was a cool store called Booyaka, like Booyaka, and it was run Vietnamese brothers, the Bowie brothers. And I walked in, and they were just like, you got a cool look, like you want to work here? And I was like, and it had a waterfall, and they were playing reggae all day. I was like, a waterfall in the store, fake palm trees, playing reggae. Hey, why not? Right. So I started working there, and that's when I met Miss Tina. After working there for a couple of years, Miss Tina would come in, and the girls were neighborhood superstars. They had No on the radio, and she kind of became like my other mother, being that my mom was 4.5 hours away. And when things came in that looked like Destiny's Child, I would contact her, and we just built a relationship. And after years, I got transferred to, recruited to go work at the Guest store. Mm-hmm. And she would come in there, and then I got recruited to work at BB's. And BB's is kind of where everything, because back in the day, BB was like the place. You work at BB, you're like, it's like saying you work at the White House at that time. I would be in clubs, and they'd be like, we got time for BB. I was like, hey, whatever.
That's crazy. And I know it's true because my ex worked at BB's, or actually the best friend worked for BB's, and it meant everything.
It was celebrity, so it was just a different clientele. Mm. And Miss Tina told me one day they were filming them, and she was like, I'm gonna get you out of here one day. And I just had a day off a couple of weeks later, and I really needed that day off to just rest. But I was like, you know what? Call and see if she needed help. And I called her, and I immediately started working on the Survivor video and the Grammys.
Wow. What a story. But all from, first of all, from trusting your instincts and knowing I can't do this anymore. I got to get out of here and throw a few things in my car, and I'm hitting it to Houston. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that is that I knew I had 3 months to figure this out. And I was like, if I don't jump, I'll never will. Because, at that job at Carbometics, the artificial heart valve place, this guy, I learned a valuable lesson simply because this guy who worked with us, he worked overtime all the time, and he constantly took everybody's shift, and he just work. And we had this huge retirement party for him. And he was like, yeah, I'm finally going to, go live my life. And he had all these dreams and goals and aspirations. And he literally died like a week or two later. And that was like a really big wake up call for me to just live your life, live for now. We're so programmed to try to get to the next, but you have to learn to live in the moment.
Yeah, because the moment really, man, is all we ever have. And that's what people don't realize. You don't create anything in the future. You don't create anything in the past. Everything you do, everything you create, everything that you are happens in the present, always. Yes. And you have to keep your attention, your focus, your joy, everything in the present. That's where it all happens. No, it's great to hear that. And, it happens for everybody. I think for me, my journey started the same way. I was just like, I can't anymore. I know I'm in LA. I'm supposed to be in heaven. Everybody's like, why would you leave LA? I'm out. I'm going to New York. I don't even know why. I got $10,000 that I saved up. Yes, I had $10,000 I saved up, and I'm going to live off that for a month or two, whatever it takes. But I'm going. And my life was transformed by just having that faith, to trust that instinct, that move of God or the Holy Spirit inside me that said, go now. It sounds crazy, but just do it. Trust me, I got you.
Hey, when I tell you, my sleep pattern is messed up or I feel uneasy, I just know that I have to regroup and just really write down everything and just notice, just figure out what the next phase is or I believe in transitions. I believe in just stepping out on faith and just going for it. I'd rather take a chance than not, and then live in guilt of not taking the chance.
Yeah. You come from a big family? How many of you guys are there?
It's my mom, and she has 4 brothers, and her best friend, who is my godmother, she has 4 brothers. My mom was the only girl. And as far as the immediate, it's just me, my brother, and I have this half sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, you live in your life openly. And of course, that implies that at some point, especially, you have a kid, you're a young parent, you have a kid. At some point, you have to have some conversation with yourself. And I would imagine with your family about, okay, this is actually who I believe that I am, or I've moved into. What was that experience like for you? Did you have a coming out or an inviting in conversation?
I was actually pushed out. The first person, the first guy that I met kind of forced me out because the whole transition, everything happened. And you'll notice in my book when you read it, but I was pretty much forced to come out of the closet. And it was such an ugly time. And something that was so dark is now a gift to me, because if he didn't do what he did, I probably wouldn't live my truth. There's so many men that live DL and not live their truth, and men and women. And I just think it's wear and tear. It's it's a very depressing, very sad life when you can't live your truth. And I've noticed when I did step into who I am today, my respect level even went up higher, because I wasn't hiding anything and I was living my truth. And I feel like that really brightened my light to allow people to not have that sense of, not knowing.
It feels deceptive when you're hiding parts of who you are, creating characters that you're playing.
But if you just, this is it, take it or leave it, whatever falls off from that one meant for you in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find society's interesting. It's really kind of hypocritical. It's just crazy in so many ways. People want you to be something other than you are to make them feel good about being the character they created for themselves, as opposed to them just leaning into whoever they may be authentically and living that. I think, I started the podcast, and listeners know this. They've heard me say it 1,000 times, but they're going to hear me say it again. I think what's wrong with humanity right now is that we're living in this identity crisis because we've forgotten who we are. We forgot whose we are. And so many of us don't know that, we're these valuable, amazing creations that God created, that you created to be exactly who you are and to live who you are and bring your gifts that come through you into the world and to use those to serve other people. And when you do something less than that, it leaves this void in you, right? And you're trying to fill that void with material things, with money, with likes, with followers, with fame, or by make yourself feel better by diminishing other people. I'm this, but at least I'm not that. I'm not a woman, or I'm not trans, or I'm not gay, or I'm not black, or I'm not. Just be who you are, embrace your humanity, and then you can see and embrace the humanity in other people. So,
amen. I agree.
Yeah, it sucks that it came to you that way, but it's good, and I'm glad, and we're all pleased, and we're better for you being who you are and letting your light shine as who you are authentically. But what was that journey like for you? Was the family, and it was painful as you shared, did your family kind of rally around you, or was it just a really kind of a process to get there?
It was, when the first person I told was my mom, and she was very supportive. It kind of threw off because I must admit I was a player back in the day.
That's that Leo stuff.
It threw her off because, she's seen me with a lot of girls. But at the same time, to have that support from her and for her to love me unconditional was pretty much all I needed to push forward, because I didn't care about anything else. And my daughter was a baby at the time. So I was like phase 1, and the next phase is my daughter, because those are the only two people I really cared about. Mm-hmm. As my daughter got older, she literally came up to me and said, pretty much she loved me, because I went through a breakup, and she told me she loved me, and I just started knowing that she knew, and after that I was like, I don't care about the world, because my world loves me, which was my daughter and my mother. So anything else didn't matter.
Yeah, and that's powerful. And I have a similar story, but my mom loving and embracing me as her child, whoever I was made to be. It's really all that mattered. And I think that's what people forget about. We have all these films that talk about love and the power of love, but love really is the thing that can change and transcend everything. To love and to be loved and to exist as a loving person are things that transform your experience of life. They transform the people and the places and the things around you. Love is really all it's about. And these people that run around here, saying they're Christians, which is supposed to be a disciple of Jesus, which means you're supposed to love and be loved the way he loved us, are doing the exact opposite of that. And it is effing hypocritical, and it's contrary and counterproductive. So it's great to hear your mom had that insight, man.
Yeah, my mom, the one thing she just told me, please don't talk to your dad and your brother. And I was okay with that. And it's so crazy because during that whole stress thing, the period of just about to move to Houston, my brother, he pretty much came up to me and was like, I hate you, feel like you can't come to me. I love you regardless. And that was his way of telling me that he loved me. And as time went on, he came to visit me in New York with his wife at the time. And I'm like, I'm going out. He was like, I want to go with you. So he ended up going with me to the gay club, him and his wife. And they had the time of their life. And for them to experience of the ignorance of what gay looks like to the world, and to see it comes in different variations. We come in different variations, you're flamboyant to drag to trans to masculine to, and so for them to experience that really was an eye opener for him as well. And my sister-in-law at the time. And then my dad, I always, had the fear of talking to him about it. But as my dad passed away with cancer, but in his sick bed, we had the opportunity to talk about it, and he just pretty much let me know without saying it so much, going deep in it, that he loved me, and he let me know that he knew as well. And so, that was such a healing moment too, and it helped me to really move forward with life. And even though I was in this, I didn't feel like I needed that validation, but to get it was a huge stamp to really help me to keep going forward.
That's really, really wonderful that your father was, able to process that way, and you and your brother and everybody just came to this loving space. That's a blessing, because that's not necessarily everybody's story, but that's just more proof, man, that, love transcends everything. That's great for you guys. Yeah. So you're an author. You have written your first book. First of all, why a book? What's it about, and why now?
This journey for writing a book has been a few years now. I would say probably like three years. And the original, I always wanted to do what I'm doing now. But of course, when you go with the book ideas to publishers in the beginning, they wanted it to be all fashion. And I really wanted people to get to know me and tell my story first. Even if you follow me on social media, you wouldn't even know I was a stylist, because it's all about, motivating people. That's my passion, and that's what gets me going. It's just, making the world, just stamping the world as much as I can to make it a better place, and to put out what I want to receive. But the original book we were doing was about fashion and styling, and I talked to Chris, who's part of our team, and when I was telling him, my life story, he was like, that should be a book. And I was like, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. So we got together the book proposal, and when it went out, and a lot of publishers were biting and was ready for it. So I was like, and it's perfect for this time. I believe in timing, and everything happens for a reason in the season. And I just feel like everything was pushed and wasn't working, and things, and even those dark times where you were getting no's or things weren't working out right, simply because the timing was for now. And the way this world is set up now, I think it's the perfect book to get people motivated and give them inspiration.
Absolutely. And again, the title of the book is Makeover from Within.
Yes. And that's where it starts. I say it all the time. We're not born with clothes on. Your first outfit is your skin. And so until you feel completely comfortable in that look, none of the other looks will work out for you.
Exactly. And if you're not comfortable in your look, you can always have something to say about everybody else's look that's trying to distract from yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's powerful. And the book is available for pre-order now, right? So
yes. And
Amazon and all the places.
Yeah, Barnes & Noble, everywhere. You go to my tytryone.com, tytryone.com. At the top, there's 3 links. You hit ABC. You can purchase it at all from Amazon and the bookstores as well.
And when people purchase the book, I know it's, it sounds like a wonderful book, of course, and then sounds inspirational, motivational. But what kind of expectations should people have when they get the book? It's not a novel, it's an autobiography, but then it's made in such a way that it can be helpful to other people. Kind of give people a sense of what to expect when they get that book in their hands.
I made it a point to tell my story, but I also after each paragraph, after each chapter, there we go. Thank you. Long day. After each chapter, I make sure that I leave Thai takeaways, and it's sort of like my inspiration, my IG page, or if you follow me on Twitter, everywhere I'm very motivated. But I made it a point to do Thai takeaways. It's like, okay, I went right, but if I could go back in time, I wouldn't change a thing, of course, because that's how I am, who I am today. But I also just did Thai takeaways to say, if I could go back, these are some of the routes I probably would have did. And just kind of to leave the reader with just inspiration to keep going, to keep pushing. And I just wanted to touch as many other obstacles I could after each chapter.
Yeah. Now, reading the book, buying the book and reading the book to support Ty is plenty of reason to do it. Ty's story is another great reason to get the book. And the motivation is a great reason to get the book. But if that's not enough for some of y'all on the fence, there's some interesting stuff about this book that I know is public that you can share now, which is the foreword was written by
Beyonce, my sister Beyonce, and the after was written by the fabulous Billy Porter. And, you know, I'm blessed to have people. It was hard. I never really went and asked people for anything. I try to just do things on my own. So this was just a hard thing for me to do, to go to friends and loved ones and you know, have them be a part of this. But the willingness and the, you know, what do you need? What do you need? And for people to give me my flowers while I'm still alive was such a blessing in itself. I had people like, you know, Kelly Osbourne, Kelly Rowland and Michelle, Rosario Dawson, Jennifer Hudson, the wonderful, fabulous, everything to me, Naomi Campbell also wrote a quote from my book as well. And so just to get support from, you know, friends and family, and for them to tell me what I mean to them, for them to come with paragraphs and paragraphs of what I mean to them and I couldn't even use it all for the book because there wasn't enough room, that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And it just really helped me to feel, you know, just feel good, overall good with this project. And it eased a lot of the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's great, man, that you sit in that gratitude. Of course, it's great that you're grateful and you're humble that way. But, you know, and I can say this from somebody being the outside looking in, that they were so gracious. They were so eager to support and to love on and to share with you because that's what you put into the world. That's what you put into their lives. It's easy to say yes and show up for people that have shown up for you and shown up for others in so many ways over the years. I mean, when you called me, and full disclosure, y'all, I was shot the book cover, and Ty reached out to me, and yes, it's a gig and it's something to do as a check or whatever, but it was immediately more than that for me because I've watched how Ty's moved through the world. I've experienced Ty's graciousness and compassion and positivity. And so I was happy to contribute to something like that. And again, you know, it just inspires you to be your best and to give your best to somebody that you know is already doing that in the world and to others. And then it just keeps building on itself, right? So I did that because I'm happy to do it for you. And then we went the extra mile. We shot all these amazing pictures, knowing that, you know, I only need one good one for the cover. And then you hit me back with, the pictures are going to be all through the book.
Yeah, throughout the book. Yeah, that's because you're just that great. And I feel like the energy that day, that shoot, and just from working with you in the past and, you know, and many more in the future, but I don't know, the chemistry and just your vision and what you, I don't know, you allow me to really showcase another side of myself and really bring out, and I'm really, really honored to work with you. I
appreciate you. I really do. And thank you for that. But, you know, I didn't want to tee that up as a moment about me. It's really about, again, you know, this is what you bring out in us to do for you, to be with you, to accomplish in this world with you. And I just really wanted to make that a big deal for folks because people, you know, everybody, we live in this moment of everybody wanting instant gratification and nobody wants to pay dues and everybody thinks they, you know, I graduated yesterday, I need to be president today. Nah, that's not how it works. First of all, your gifts that God gives you are not for you. They're supposed to come through you and be used to serve other people. So if you don't have a heart of service, if you're not thinking about how you can make the world different, better, how you can use your gifts to serve others, you're only going to be into it for, you know, selfish reasons, and you're going to get selfish things out of it. And your graciousness and how you give and your generosity is why people are eager to pour into you and to give back to you. So, I mean, clearly be proud of that and be happy about that. I can't wait for the book to come out. I can't wait. I hope people are going to order it right now. The link will be in the bio here on the IG feed as well as in the story notes for this podcast. Now, you know, you move from Austin to Houston, you meet Miss Tina, you're styling for Destiny's Child, dreams that you may not even know you had are coming through. What does it feel like in the center of that beautiful storm as all this stuff has happened?
It took literally probably almost a year for me to just really get it, because I was thrown in the fire and I had to keep the fire burning. So I never even took the time, because I was, to work under Miss Tina, I was a sponge of just learning so much, and she's such a creative individual and she taught me so much. I'm forever, indebted to her. But, Destiny's Child's biggest girl group, just going. We're everywhere. We're traveling the world. I'm passport. I'm all over the place. And, it really didn't hit me until we ended up in Japan, I believe it was Japan. Mm-hmm. We were at, there's somewhat like TRL, like all the people were out, but they were like piled up on each other in the glass, and they were singing Survivor. And that was the first time it really hit me, because I'm like, they don't speak English. They're singing this song, and the lyrics really hit me at a place to where I got really emotional, because, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work harder in those lyrics. And so that song really means a lot to me. And it was my first project. And it just let me know that people, like my relatives and friends, who always treated me better and always put me on the high pedestal even before I caught up. So it's just, a lot of times we worried about what people think about us, but a lot of times people see you bigger than you see yourself, and you just got to catch up.
Absolutely. If I moved the way some of the people in my life see me, I'd be a superstar right now. Like, people are like, I don't get what's going on. Like, no, that's real. And you've got to believe that and live that yourself. There's no doubt about it. You speak with such fondness, man, about Miss Tina. When I hear you speak about her, I almost feel like I know her and I love her as a person. Tell me a little more about her. Obviously don't violate her trust, but like, what's something about Miss Tina that you feel like people really should know when they don't know? Because she definitely seems like an important figure, in your life and your development.
What I walk through, what I forever, what I've learned with her that sticks to me to this day is that, even through chaos or, the show must go on, like, figure it out. And so I'm blessed to be okay with working under pressure. And, that fear if something like happens, like I'm the first thing I'm thinking of, what's the solution? Let me fix this, instead of running away from it. And she's just a creative individual. Like, I talk about a time, and I left Kelly's skirt on the private plane and had a show. It was a concert, and like we had like 45 minutes to show time, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I put in the clean. Like, so it was a whole scary moment, but we instantly like tablecloth curtain, let's make it work. And it's just, God made it work to where you didn't even know that it was just, it's like everything was there that needed to be there to just make it work. And, I've learned that from her, and just be a good person. People think once you get to a certain level, you got to act a certain way. You could still be fabulous and humble and gracious and a good person. This entertainment business, there's some nasty people in it, and it's just, there's some evil, sick, nasty people. And, I just made it a point to just forever be true to myself and not treat anybody any kind of way to get to where I'm trying to go. And even though, I'm a good person and the journey might take a little longer, but once I get there, trust me, I tell people all the time, I started with a van full of people, and now I'm just me and a few people, and I done took the seats out of the bag and laid the bed back there,
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and it's okay. You got to learn that you're going to lose, friends and even sometimes family, but the ones that are there for you and truly there for you are meant to be there for you. And, yeah.
Yeah, that brings to mind an important conversation I had recently with this guy, Dr. Sean Jenwright, and his book, The 4 Pivots. And one of the things he talks about is the need to move from transactional, relationships to having more transformative relationships.
Amen.
And transactional being on it, the obvious being, I do something for you, you do something for me. And they're not necessarily bad. When you go into a bank or something, you need to do a transaction. You go into a store, you need to do a transaction. I don't need to know your life history. I'm not trying to change your world. I just need you to do this thing and I'm going to do that thing. So they're okay. They have their place. But transformative relationships, those are the relationships where the relationship, each person walks away from the relationship better than they were, more than they were. You get things out of it that really helping you become a more full, more rounded, a more, wonderful person. And that relationship with Ms. Knowles absolutely I'm sorry, Ms. Lawson, actually sounds like a transformative relationship. Have you in your life been mindful of the fact that some relationships are transformative versus transactional? And if you weren't, fine, because many of us aren't. But
it took me a while, you know what I mean? And some of those, you have the set of friends that that I can call at any time for this, and you have that set of friends. I'm going through a depression. They're going to say yes, even if I'm wrong, right or wrong. And then you got those friends where I'm going to have a good time and go out and party. But you kind of have to lay everybody out and just go from there. But I'm definitely aware. It took a while. And, I'm all about elevating and it's just, I'm around greatness. So why not? I like to have that around me too. Help me just keep pushing and want those same things. And also not just materialistic things, but just to feed me knowledge for my growth and to move forward.
Yeah. The other thing too, you touched on this earlier, is just transitions, right? People want security. They want things to be the way next year or 10 years from now that they are today. And that's just not true. The one constant in life is things change. Shit changes. It is what it is. You went from being a stylist for Destiny's Child to Beyonce going solo. Curious about what that transition was like. Then at some point you went to a transition where you're not Beyonce stylist anymore. Yeah. What was that like? Tell me about those transitions in your world. And
I came on, it was Destiny's Child, and then first I did Kelly's solo project, then I did Michelle's solo project, then I did Solange, and then I did Beyonce. Then I did Destiny's Child again. You know what I mean? And so it, like I said, it wasn't so far-fetched because, believe it or not, their sisterhood was so strong. And people tried to make stories or whatever, but the support system was always there. So you could be at a Kelly concert or, Solange or Michelle or Beyonce and still see the family. It was a strong family. It is a strong family unit. And so the support was always there. As far as the transition of leaving Beyonce and just stepping out on faith and doing other things, it was a really dark time because that was my over 20 years. It was just the regular, you know what I mean? Right. So for me to really just say, okay, I stepped out on faith and moved out of the, from schools to the medical field to, retail to working for them. And if I could do it then, I can do it now. And just having that belief that I can and wanted something else and wanted to explore other things. So after On the Run 1, I had 3 months off. And so like everybody else, maybe taking vacations and, on the gram or whatever, showing pictures of other exotic islands and stuff. I just got busy and started knocking out some goals and dreams and things that I wanted to do. And so in that process, I never said I quit and people thought I got fired. So it was this huge thing that I got fired. Somebody even wrote a story about me no longer being there, pretty much kind of saying I got fired. And it was a blessing because me as being as good of a person as I am and have the heart that I have, I was still able to see that some people simply was only there for that attachment. And it was a big, huge wake-up call, and I'm glad it happened to me. Literally 3 months later, she asked me to style her for the Met Gala. So it was like, you guys have treated me like, treated me wrong. Some designers were acting different, people in the showroom acting different, and I still never would talk. I would go do press for the other things that I would do, and they be on the news and stuff, and they'll bring up, stuff, and I just went with the flow because that's how we are. And it was just amazing to see the people drop off, and then realize that I'm still there, and I will forever be there. If she ever needs me for anything, all the girls, if they ever need me for anything, I'm going to always be there for them. And that's the kind of relationship we have. And so it was a blessing to see just for God to just clean my slate, clean my palette, and make room for my blessings. And those who weren't supposed to be there, they trickled off. And I'm not going to change who I am. I'm still going to be a nice person, but I just learned who I can and cannot F with anymore.
Yeah. No, those are important lessons, and that's why we do these conversations, man, because to get the wisdom from people like you who've been in the trenches, experienced these things, and to share, a path that worked for you, how you navigate the change, how you navigate the crazy talk from outside world. It's amazing. And you're going through that now. I'm not going to go into detail, but you got blamed for something recently that happened that had nothing to do with you. And you were so humble and so kind about it. You're like, I don't feel the need to say I didn't do this. And for many reasons, right? Because you were being kind to the person that was involved, because you didn't want to, there's so many great reasons why you're being the way you are. And it's important for us to share and to uphold these examples to people, because there are other ways to navigate the crazy other than the ways that people think empower them. I think people think that being negative, being nasty, being aggressive is always the way to go. And actually it kind of undermines what your long-term goals are. And it's just great to see these examples of somebody being the opposite, because you lean into who you are and because you're so authentic. We're going to move on, but before we move on, this notion of being a stylist, right? I've shot fashion over the years in addition to all my fine artwork. And I've realized that in many cases, in many situations, people who like clothes will decide that they're a stylist, and they're a stylist. Two things. One, can you define for people who may not understand what a stylist is and what a stylist does? And secondly, if you have any words of wisdom for people who aspire to move into the field, and what it really takes and what it really looks like to be a stylist. Because I think people fall in love with clothes, and I can dress you like a doll and that'll be fun, and I'm a stylist. And it's like, no, it's not that simple.
Yeah. We're living in a time where things have changed. Like, again, I started before social media, before Google, before style.com. Like, we had to really be creatives and go in there and, make things happen. I feel like a lot of times now the stylists are just taking a look from the runway and putting it in, instead of being creative and say, let me take the pants from here and the top from there and the shoe from there. Now people touch a celebrity one time and they're like, I'm a celebrity stylist, like, boom. So it's just, everything is instant now. And, I just think you have to really put in the time and let us see your creativity. And really, everything is really quick now. And the celebrities now are the stylists are the celebrities as well now. I was coming up, I didn't care how I look. I show up at the carpet, I'm on the putting the train out. Sometimes I didn't get time to get dressed. I showed up to the Met one time with cargo pants and like a denim shirt. And I'm on the floor like laying out the dress and making sure everything goes well. So that whole thing is something I want people to know. And just there's so many sacrifices and so many things that's being a stylist. You're going to miss birthdays. You're going to miss, very important moments in life. Me growing up as a parent, I missed a lot of things with my daughter. I didn't have FaceTime. I didn't have Zoom. But now I think it makes it a little bit easier to be distant because you have platforms like that. It's a lot of lonely times. If you're dating, situation's going to be a problem, an issue when you have a person that you're working for that's on the go. Now, there are some people that you probably only have to dress once or twice a month, but I was working for the most, the busiest girl group of all times. And it was a lot of, sacrificing that took place.
Yeah. At this point in the industry, because it's matured in many ways, is it something where you need credentials now to get into it, or it's still just somebody who's really creative, understands fashion, and can take the
I
steps
mean,
to
now
slide
it's
in.
just different. Like, I know people that are picking up people simply from Instagram. You know, it's just different. It's easier to get there, and there's more people doing it. And so the thing is to just find that niche of what makes you stand out from the rest. You know what I mean? And just learning your craft and just sticking to it. I mean, a lot of people have different style techniques that you might not agree with, but if that's who you are, somebody out there will pick it up. You know what I mean? And go from there. It's simply just believing in yourself and just sticking to that and not letting, not comparing your work to other people. You have to take social media breaks sometime because a lot of times I feel people feel like, oh, they're doing this and that, and I should be doing it. I'm way better than them. But at the same time, it's not your time. It's not your season. So you have to back away and just really work on your craft and just keep going and putting it out.
Yeah, and not let other people get in your ear, because I've definitely experienced that. People are like, you're amazing. You should be doing A, B, and C. These other, I don't know why they're doing whatever. I'm like, my time will come when it's my time. But more importantly, I'm doing the thing I love to do the way I love to do it. And I'm already paid for that. The rest is gravy. So you gotta be in that space a little bit too. Who are some of the people doing it now that you are fans of? I know you're positive, so I'm comfortable asking you that. You're not gonna give me a bunch of reads. Who are some of the people in the field that are styling that you're loving their work?
Pretty much. I feel everybody is really doing a great job right now. Law is doing amazing. Jason Rembrandt, Jason Bolden. It's so many. It's so many. It's so many. It's so many right now. But it's good to see that, you know, me coming up, it was me, June Ambrose, Misa, you know, Rory. And now it's to see more of me doing what I did, what I, you know, was part of in the beginning. It's great to see that, you know.
I was going to say, you're being super humble, but I think it's like the golden age of Black stylists for sure. And Black gay men doing it. They're killing it. They're like everywhere. And you definitely have a hand in inspiring people to do that. Who's some of your favorite celebrities in terms of who's looking great on red carpets and in their videos and in their images right now?
I don't know.
Because you don't have time. You're working too hard.
No, like I said, Law with Zendaya, I always love what they're doing. It's just so saturated. It's like now, back in the day, you would watch it and you could just kind of be like, boom, boom, boom. Like now it's so much. So
right. I
don't really have that favorite. I just think everybody's doing a great job right now.
Yeah, it feels like that. You're working with Billy Porter, the amazing Billy Porter right now. What are some of the key differences working with a man as opposed to a girl group?
I style Billy with Colin Anderson. He's an amazing, I feel like he's my son, Lord Jesus, but he's not. And just working with Billy is, I tell people, it kind of reminds me when I was styling salons. You just kind of go in the showroom and you find the things that people are afraid of, or just like, nah, they wouldn't wear that, or it's just been sitting there for a long time. Nobody had the balls to give it a shot. Billy, he just allow you to just go there and just do it. He's going to work it and sell a garment. And it's just fun, and he's not afraid of fashion, and it's fun for him, and it's fun for us. That's what makes it fun for us. He doesn't take it too serious like the rest of, a lot of people take it so serious. And I just feel like fashion should just be fun. You should just explore and just do whatever, and just as long as you're happy at the end of the day. When my client looks in the mirror and say, I feel good, then I feel good. I feel like I accomplished what I wanted to, because a lot of times I can go pull you look number 7 and you put it on and just, it's not you. It's just it's overpowering. And I feel like Billy is such a huge ball of just like fire that he's just like, give it to me, I'll do it. So he's fun. He's fun.
And Billy's fearless, and you can't be afraid of falling flat sometimes. You and Billy may love something, and then the world's like, not so much. Yeah. But if the world loved everything, it'd probably be normal and regular and boring anyway.
Yeah, so. I mean, come on, Gaga showed up in a meat dress. I always say this, like, Oh, you just gotta sit in it and have the confidence. And that's why I always say, like, we're not blowing the clothes on, but once you got confidence will let you walk in the room with anything, and make it work. Recently, Naomi just walked the show, and she had the biggest dress that took the Balenciaga took the whole runway,
Yes.
and she just whooped that thing through there like this. And I was like, that's how you do it. And it's just the confidence of just saying, I'll do it. Like, give
Yeah.
it here, and make it work. So that's what I love about the girls now. You could tell it's not about the garments, it's about who has the confidence. That's what shines to me. That's why I wasn't really good at doing those shows like Fashion Police and stuff like that, because who am I to dog out a female for, she done paid money for hair and makeup and she feels beautiful and this is her night. But I can scope who's confident in what they're wearing. And so I feel like a lot of times stylists should take time out to learn what insecurities their client have and get them to a place of not being insecure. You don't like your knees, let's do these tights, let's do these leggings. You don't like the shoulders, let's just make a little shawl piece that'll cover up whatever you don't like, and just kind of slowly get them to a place of loving themselves at all the way 100%. And so that's my goal with clients, is just kind of really make them a part of the transaction, because at the end of the day, they have to wear it and it's their brand too. They're not going to just, I'll probably be the last name they'll say. They'll be like, she look a mess, but it's like, how do you feel about it? Because you're not going to ever be able to please everybody. Nobody has never walked on the carpet and was able to please every single person on it that's watching. So it's about how do you feel about yourself, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, you basically just described a makeover from within.
Yeah.
Look at you. I know you're not, I know you're a very private person. I'm not sure how public you are about this. So, I don't want to talk about that as a completely suitable answer, but I know that you're a caregiver for somebody that you're very, very close to. Is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah.
And if so, all right, let's talk about that a little bit, man. What has that journey been like, caring for your mother, who's ill, and while dealing with the pandemic and still building your career and making money? What's that? I know personally from talking to you what it's like, but can you share with listeners what that journey's been like for you?
It's a tough journey, because my mom and dad were both diagnosed with cancer kind of around the same time. I've lost my dad. It's going on a little over 2.5 years now. 3 years possibly. And my dad died from prostate cancer, and my mom has stage 4 breast cancer. And they've been separated since I was a kid. So both in Austin, Texas, and dividing the time and showing up for radiation with him, chemo with her. It has been a blessing to actually be there. You know what I mean? God is amazing, because I would normally probably be on the world tour somewhere, or just so into work to where I had just let go everything, and I just stepped aside from fashion and went to family, which was the top priority anyway. And it just allowed me to change my priorities. And it was a tough journey. My strength comes from, I didn't even know my own strength. Whitney Houston. I didn't know my own strength, but my dad actually, I had to fly to New York because I was moving to LA, and I was only gone for 3 days. And my dad waited for me to come back, and when I touched him, he passed away. And I had to sit with his body for a couple of hours, and it just allowed me to look at death in a whole nother light. And, death is life, and my mom's strength, she had moments where she would, let herself go, because it's cancer, and just living in that, it's a lot. It's a lot. And just having to, help her get through depression and keep her happy and stuff. But, the key thing was just to let her know that I need you. I need you to be here. And just to see her starting to push a little bit more. My mom had lost a lot of weight in the beginning, and she's slowly building up now and doing better. And, it's not easy. It's not easy to see your superhero get that kryptonite, but to know that I am able to be here to help her fight and to see that extra push in her for me. This book means so much to me because a lot of chapters, you know, my mom is pretty much my DNA of, you know, she's, a lot of it is about her. And so I'm like, girl, you got to pull it together. Like, you're going to have to do interviews. You're going to have to, you know, do stuff. And so that's given her an extra kick too. We recently did a photo shoot together. They flew her here and we did a shoot together. So she had hair and makeup, and they flew my godmother here with her as well, her best friend. So it's just those things have really, I've seen this change in my mom in the last 2 months, and it just made me happier. And it's allowing me to really go in and do what I need to do for a better life for us as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I ask because I just think it's important to talk about these things out loud. You know, people look at celebrities and people are in the news and their lives and they imagine them to be perfect. And it's like, no, these are human beings. These are human stories. Life is a series of problems and obstacles that we have to figure out ways to overcome. And in doing that, you discover who you are and you build who you are as a person. That's what this is about. So to expect life to be smooth and no problems not only is crazy, but it dishonors life. The fact that you overcome these things in order to figure out who you are and build on who you are, that's the blessing. And who would you say is Ty Hunter at his core? Who's Ty Hunter at his core?
I'm just overall a good guy. And I didn't know how different I was until, you know, I'm constantly being told, like, you're nice, or you know, help me through this, you help me get through that. And so I realized that my platform and what my purpose of being here is. And, you know, I have moments where I have to break away and just regroup and reboot myself. And, but overall, I'm a humble, good person who finally got to a place of putting himself first because I'm able to carry the weight of others. But now I'm at a point where I fill my cup up, and whatever drips over into the saucer, I'm giving that out now versus getting on empty, because like I said, I am the type of person who can take so much. I'm built this way, but at the same time, I've learned to just put myself first and love myself first and make sure that I'm okay. Because like I said, I don't really go to people about anything. People come to me for everything, and, you know, I'm helping people get through stuff. And so this book was actually therapy for me. I've never been to therapy. I've always been a therapist. So to really say things out loud and connect the dot to certain things, it really allowed me to learn why I am the way I am and why I am who I am. And it's been a great journey. And like I said, it's anxiety of just wanting to get it out. Because it is my story, and those that are part of my story, all of that is causing a little bit of anxiety, but I'm really, really excited.
That's beautiful. Ty, if you had a magic napkin and you could write 3 things on that napkin, and those 3 things will all come true within the next 10 years, it could be personal, it could be for the world, it could be for whatever. What are those 3 things you would wish for on that magic napkin?
I would say world peace, peace of mind, and health, like healthy.
That's what's up. You've done much in your career. You're adding author to your title. What is next for you, my friend?
A lot of stuff I don't want to say because, you know, I don't want to jinx anything. But a lot of great things are coming. I'm designing more things that are coming out. More TV. You'll see me more on TV. You'll hear me more on podcasts and radio. And, you know, hopes of working on a second book and possibly, like I said, TV stuff. Yeah, I don't want to jinx nothing. But yeah, that's it.
That's what's up. That's a lot, my Leo brother. I believe that you will do everything that's on your heart to do. Ty, why don't we share your social media and the book title again so people can pick that up and they can follow you, and then we can get up out of here, man.
My social media is Tryone, Tytryone. A lot of people think it's Tyrone. A lot of times I'll be in the street, I'll be like, Tyrone. It should have been Tyrone, but it's Tryone. And my website, you can go, is Tytryone.com. It's Tytryone.com. But Twitter, Facebook, everything is Tryone.
Got it. And the book?
And try one of these books. Try one of these books.
Okay, try one of these books. Yeah. The book is called Makeover from Within. It's available wherever you buy books, including Amazon, which I know many of you think is evil. We had a whole conversation about that before we got on the air. Sorry, it's really convenient. Y'all need to give me another option before you think about me boycotting. But Amazon exists, Barnes & Noble. And, if you're in a state or a city that has Black-owned bookstores, support them to buy the book there. But Ty, it's been
the book is at the top. If you go to the website, Tryone.com, the links are up the top of all of the places you can purchase the book.
Got it. So there you go. Go to his website. It'll be in the show notes here on the podcast. It'll be everywhere. You won't have an excuse not to buy this book. So go out and pre-order the book right now. Ty Hunter, thank you, my friend, for joining me. Thank you for being a friend. And
thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Mine too. Prayers and blessings for you.